Good day, everyone. Today, I'm going to discuss about the Japanese period in Philippine literature. So, without further ado, let's get started. Between 1941 to 1945, Philippine literature was interrupted in its development when the Philippines was again conquered by another foreign country, Japan. Philippine literature in English came to a halt except for the Tribune and Philippine Review. Almost all newspapers in English were stopped by the Japanese. This had an advantageous effect on Filipino literature, which experienced renewed attention because writers in English turned to writing in Filipino. Juan Laya, who used to write in English, turned to Filipino because of the strict prohibitions of the Japanese regarding any writing in English. The weekly Liwayway was placed under strict surveillance until it was managed by the Japanese named Ishiwara. In other words, Filipino literature was given a break during this period. Many wrote plays, poems, short stories, etc. Topics and themes were often about life in the provinces. So now let's proceed to the Filipino poetry during this period. There are three types of poem emerged during this period. The first one is haiku, a poem of free verse that the Japanese like. It is made up of 17 syllables divided into three lines. The first line had 5 syllables, the second 7 syllables, and third 5. The haiku is allegorical in meaning, is short and covers a wide scope meaning. The second we have here the tanaga. Like the haiku, is short but it had measure and rhyme. Each line had 7 syllables, and it's also allegorical in meaning. The third one we have here, karaniwang anyo or usual form, like those mentioned earlier in the beginning chapter of this book. During the Japanese occupation of the Philippines from 1941 to 1945, strict prohibitions were imposed on the writing and publishing of works in English. The reasons behind these prohibitions were largely political and cultural. The Japanese aimed to suppress the influence of Western culture, particularly that of the United States and the United Kingdom, which had been prevalent in the Philippines due to the country's history as a USA colony. By suppressing English language literature, the Japanese sought to promote their own language and culture in an attempt to win the hearts and minds of the Philippines.